Okay. That's say it, man. That's mind-blowing research. That's honestly, that's food for thought. I think after that's Kitab Sulaim, R.I.P. Dead and buried. I'll read the Fatiha. I'll read the Janazah. Janazah's been read on Kitab Sulaim. Any speaker who now recites Kitab Sulaim after this video is just going to get forwarded to them.
Usually they don't mention Kitab Sulaim. They don't mention their source. They just mention the musibah.
But sometimes they mention Bihar, and Bihar is getting it from Kitab Sulaim.
Exactly. There is no other primary source other than Kitab Sulaim. You don't have any other primary source. And so if Kitab Sulaim is discredited, you basically have nothing else. You have, for example, Dalailul Imama, which we will deal with, inshallah, in the next episode.
It's funny, Sayyid, and the famous Tajdidi kind of, you could say a reform type of Sunnah, Maulana Ishaq from Pakistan, Rahmatullah alayh. As you probably know from the Al-Hadith, but he was very learned in the Shia stuff as well, and very justice-based. So he said that this one book destroyed the Shia madhab, and when he was asked which book, he said Kitab Sulaim.
I can see what he's meaning. I mean, it has corrupted as I told you, residues of what's in Kitab Sulaim can be found among, average 12-verse Shia to this very day. The average 12-verse traditional Shia believes in the incident of the door narrative. He believes that Bibi Fatima salamullahi alayha miscarried Muhsin. He believes that the 12th Imam will bring the actual Quran. The foundation for this narrative, the actual Quran is with the 12th Imam. What you have is just some kind of Quran compiled by the caliphs, by the Shaykhain. And so all of these kinds of khurafat, where are the people getting it?
Your whole religion destroyed to prove Sayyid Zahra Shahada. Your whole religion destroyed.
Unfortunately.
Sayyid, honestly, thank you so much for this research. It's been an amazing session. And we've covered Kitab Sulaim. Inshallah, in the future, like you said, there's other discussions to be had and other sources that they also present on this issue. But we've covered the base of what their main kind of layer is of what they deal with. Other sources are not as important, to be honest, but inshallah, if needed, we can cover those as well. Sayyid, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and for that cutting edge research. Thank you to the Islaah team to make the resources available and giving us this time. And Sayyid, any final words you want to add?
Just to say that, once again, an appeal to our general public that these discussions and these lectures that we're having and these exposés that we're having, they're not designed to offend any sensibilities or to provoke any kind of emotions. These are facts that we need to share with the general public, because the general public is being taken for a ride by these false narratives. Remember, the incident of a door is a narrative that is used to fuel sectarian tensions. It is the foundation behind a film like The Lady of Heaven, which created so much controversy and hatred and sectarian, violence and unrest. So the general public needs to wake up and realize that, yes, these narratives are there. They're mentioned in the books. But those books are not reliable. The transmission is not reliable. The narratives are not reliable. So it's high time we start telling our scholars not to pollute and contaminate our manabir and our pulpits with narrations, false and fabricated narrations that come from fake and forged books like Kitab Sulaim bin Qais al-Hilali. The public needs to do something about this.
And I'm just going to add to that, inshallah, we'll finish there, that actually the Shia public, mashallah, the one really good thing about them, out of many, is that the Shia public, actually, if you actually give them the research and show them, the Shia public just need guidance on these issues. And when you actually show them the research, mashallah, a lot of the Shia public actually listen to it and be like, we wasn't told this. They just need guidance like a leader, or in a sense that just actually tell them boom, boom, boom. And when you actually show them, a lot of, mashallah, the Shia public listen. And they are, a lot of them are sincere in this issue. It's just that they've never been told this. So when they are, a lot of them do change and realize, wow, we were taken for a ride. It's just, in the beginning, it's a bit of a shock. So Allah keep us all sincere and guide us all. And as we say, if there's any, as we say, if there's anything good in the lectures, is from Allah. Any mistakes are from us.
Definitely, inshallah. So the hope is that eyes will be opened with these research-based presentations and exposés, and the people will realize, once they realize that these are lies upon the Ahlul Bayt, they should seek to distance themselves from it. And once you distance yourself from the narratives of Kitab Sulaim bin Qais, you will become a much more beautiful Shia. You will become a Shia who is at peace with the rest of the Ummah. You don't, because right now you see our traditional 12-er Shia Bichara, they have this problem that they think, how can I have unity with the Ahlul Sunnah? Because they are respecting and revering people and saying, saying radiyallahu anhu for people who did these kinds of atrocities against.
You can't blame them when someone believes that. It's logical. It makes sense. Why would the Shia have unity with such kind of people? It makes sense with this narrative. But what we're saying is the narrative's false.
Exactly, and that's why I want to also address the 12-er Shia scholars, even up to the level of Marji'iyah. This is why they're not successful. Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Sistani, how many times they have appealed to the Shia masses?
Yes.
How many times have they condemned the Lady of Heaven movie? How many times have they appealed to the Shia masses that do not curse the Sahaba, do not curse or insult or abuse the personalities that are considered to be sacred and revered by the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? But at the ground level, even in Hoja centers, like in places like Stanmore and in places like Dar es Salaam and other places, you see open cursing going on. You see open defiance. Why? Because if as a marji' and if as a scholar or resident alim, you simply come and tell the people that, look, these people, the khulafa, the shaykhain, this is what they did to Sayyidah Zahra. You tell them that the Kitab Sulaim narrative is true, but you should keep quiet about it. No Shia is going to accept that.
I'm going to say, so if I don't curse them, who do I curse?
Exactly. I mean,
the one that killed Sayyidah Zahra, if I don't curse him, who do I curse?
Exactly. I mean, Sayyidah Zahra, the one who, if you can curse the killer of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, then why shouldn't you?
Yeah, you cause a tanaqqud in the brain.
Yeah, so either, you see, this is the part where the traditional scholarship is scared to admit. They're scared to touch Kitab Sulaim very openly and come out very forcefully against it. I mean, in their advanced level writings, they will admit that it is unreliable, and everything that I've presented you is actually their research.
Their research, yeah. But
they will not come out as forcefully and frankly and openly against it as you and I have, unfortunately.
And when one of them does, i.e. Sayyid Fadullah, meaning Shak, not even advanced research. He just like, yeah, this narrative doesn't make sense. He didn't even do all this advanced research. He's just like, yeah, I don't think this makes sense.
They cancelled him.
When one of them does, the rest of them go against it.
Exactly. So if the Marji'iyah is really seriously interested in uniting the Shi'as on showing respect and having true, genuine unity and brotherhood with the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they not only need to come out and say, don't curse the Sahaba and don't insult and abuse the personalities of the Ahlul Sunnah, you also need to come out and expose these researches that you've done, which actually show you that this narrative aslan is not correct. The incident of the door.
Only then will people actually take the call to unity seriously.
Yeah, so I mean, you cannot expect to tell the Shia that yes, Kitab Sulaim narrative and incident of the door, all of this happened, but you're not allowed to curse and abuse and all of that. So Baba, if the incident of the door really happened, then tell me, what is the difference between Yazid? What is the difference between Abdul Rahman ibn Muljim and the Shaykhain? What is the difference then? They killed Sayyidah Zahra, he killed, they're both killers of Ahlul Bayt. 100%. They are both Ahlul Bayt killers. So if 100%. I'm sending la'na on one of them,
I know that.
Abdul Rahman bin Muljim in Laylatul Qadr, they are saying, Allahumma al'an qatalat amir al-mu'mineen, Allahumma al'an qatalat amir al-mu'mineen. Yazid, openly the Shia send la'na. The issue is, they say, why the double standards then? Why can't I can send la'na on killer of Imam Ali? I can send la'na on killer of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Then why not Sayyidah Fatima? So if by the
way, based on this reason, this is why some Shias join Yasser Habib.
Exactly, because he's giving them a consistent.
He's consistent.
He is saying that
he's keeping it 100% consistent.
So Yasser al-Habib has that akhbari mentality, and we made it very clear. We were full disclosure that it is only the usuli and critical rijali mindset that rejects the Kitab Sulaim and says that it's a fabrication.
But today,
the akhbaris for them, Kitab Sulaim is like their Bible.
No, but
Because
today Usulis, these Marja and all of them that are Usuli, they're promoting Sayyid Azhar, Jawad Tabrizi, that when he condemned Fadullah, he's not Akhbari, but it's the same Kamal Hedri problem. Today there is no Akhbari Usuli. It's just the mindset is Akhbari, but the Mu'aman Usuli. But what does that even mean anymore? Doesn't mean a lot.
Right, it's Usuli in nomenclature only.
Yeah, otherwise it means nothing, because otherwise it was Usulis who were condemning Fadullah. The Usulis shouldn't. Did you get my point?
So I think, Sayyid Raza, we can summarize now that there are three positions. One is the position of Yasir al-Habib, who is saying, and the Shirazi group basically, who want to create fitna in the ummah and cause sectarian discord and strife.
But they're also being consistent with the narrative.
Exactly. So they're offering a consistent narrative, which is that Kitab Sulaim narrative is authentic, number one. And because it is authentic, you should openly curse and abuse.
Yeah.
That's the logical.
That's a logical conclusion, yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, that is one extreme. Yep. On the other extreme, you have the traditional mainstream marji'iyya and our resident alims, the people who sit on the mimbar, the zakirin. Their narrative is that Kitab Sulaim, we are going to authenticate it. We're going to present it from the mimbar, but you don't curse and abuse.
And that's our form of unity.
That's our form of unity. So we will narrate the fact that Bibi Fatima was...
Okay, we'll take you all the way there, and then when you say Lana, stop.
Yeah, so they agree with the first part of Yasir al-Habib, which is that the attack happened, and that Sayyidah Zahra was oppressed in this manner, and she was brutally killed, and her baby was murdered, and all of that. But so they're telling the Shia that you have to accept all of this, but then you have to suppress your reaction. You can't come out and curse. That you cannot do. So it's just like, I deprive you of water, but then I say you're not allowed to feel thirsty.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I give you food with a lot of spices, but I say you're not allowed to, feel that mirach in your mouth. That's the other extreme. Okay. Yeah. Or I throw you into the river and I say don't get wet. This is what the traditional scholarship is trying to do. Okay, you recite the Kitab Sulaim narrative, but don't curse and abuse. Baba, how can you stop? How can you stop them from cursing and abusing? Baba, if the Kitab Sulaim narrative was authentic and it was qat'iyyu sudur, Maulana, there is no force in the world that could have stopped me from cursing and abusing.
100%. Said, when I believed that, I was one of those guys that we used to be like, why am I not going to curse? I was one of those guys.
Obviously, I mean, even so for those whom we know with certainty that they were killers of Ahlul Bayt, like Ibn Muljim, like Yazid, don't we have the confidence to say La'anatullah alayh? We always, whenever we mention them, we will say La'anatullah alayh. So if this was established with the same degree of certainty for Sayyidah Fatima, do you think we would hesitate from cursing those killers?
100%.
So now we've seen both the extremes. We have seen the Shirazi group. They are saying the narrative is authentic.
What is the real Shia view?
Exactly. So first, let's deal with the extremes. The Shirazi group extreme, we have seen they are saying Kitab Sulaim narrative is authentic. Therefore, you should curse and curse, like a sailor.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you have the traditional, Federation, World Federation, Africa Federation, Marji'iyya narrative, which is saying, no, Kitab Sulaim, even though it has all these problems and everything, but still you can recite it in Fatimiyya. Okay, you can recite those Masaib in Fatimiyya, but then tell the people that you're not allowed to curse and abuse. Okay, that's the other extreme. Now, what is Al-Islah's proposal? Al-Islah's position is simple. That in light of the research, you see, Shirazi group and Yasir al-Habib, these are akhbaris. They have no rijali sense. They have nothing to offer in terms of ilm al-rijal and critical rijal. They are akhbaris. They are blind akhbaris, essentially. So, obviously, we cannot buy their narrative. But yes, Sayyid al-Sistani, Sayyid al-Khui, even Mirza Jawad al-Tabrizi himself admits that we don't have any proof that the Kitab Sulaim that we have in our hands today is the same Kitab Sulaim as the original Kitab Sulaim. So if we look at, so we take their research, and in light of their research, as we have demonstrated through these episodes, Kitab Sulaim is a fabrication. It is unreliable. Its chain of transmission is unreliable. It has liars all over the place who are constantly adding and piling up stuff to it. So because this whole narrative is based on completely unreliable and fabricated accounts, therefore, aslan, the question of cursing and abusing doesn't arise. Because
it's fabricated.
Because it's fabricated. So don't you see how our narrative is not only consistent?
Yeah.
our narrative is not only consistent, but it is also the narrative. It is the haqq, and this haqq is what is going to bring about unity. Because now, when we tell the Shia public, tell the Shia public that, look, don't curse, don't invoke la'na. There's nothing to invoke la'na here. All this narrative is false. It is fabricated.
So when you're saying don't do la'na on Hajj Umar, you're saying don't do la'na on Hajj Umar not because you believe the incident happened and don't curse like the marja position. You're saying don't curse because the event never happened.
Exactly.
Who's consistent? There you go.
Exactly. And I'm proving that the incident never happened from the research of the Maraja.
From the research of the Maraja. So who's got the most consistent position? Us.
Exactly.
That also brings about unity, and it's a respectful position.
Absolutely.
Sayyid, thank you so much for your time today. I know we've gone quite long in our recording today, so admins, this and that. This research session had to happen. Unfortunately, in these kind of sessions with these kind of research, it's hard to kind of squeeze it because there's a lot to say, and I like interrupting Sayyid a lot as well, so that's kind of my fault as well. But Sayyid, thank you so much. Inshallah, we will definitely see you soon in our in our other research sessions on other topics, maybe even more on this issue if needed. And thank you all the viewers for tuning in. Inshallah, we will see all of you soon. Make sure you like and subscribe on the channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.